Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. Sorry if you had any volume control problems earlier, but we're rocking and rolling here. It is Funky Fresh Friday. We have some extraordinary guests. We're going to answer some questions along the way. Keaton, good to see you. Give me a thumbs up, team, if you could hear me okay. I know we had a little bit of volume earlier with the trainings. I hope you enjoyed our Friday training. As always, we did a byoq. You bring the questions, I'll bring the answers. Starting off with Keaton here. Why is it important to learn something? Try your best and have fun. Well, I think you might have already answered the questions. So you got to be a little bit more clever than just restating what the three things that you should look for in your kids could look for. Simone is here. We'll have you coming on in a few minutes, Simone, the incredible Simone Cohen. Welcome, as always. If you think about three things for your children and yourselves, there's really three things that we want to do. One, we want to do our best. So we should gauge or acknowledge if we've done our best or not. And then we want to learn lessons, how we could do better. And most importantly, we want to find the light, the love, and the lessons in what we're doing. In other words, have fun. We want to be happy. And I know Simone Cohen will talk about his company at Henco and the success they've had over decades of time of how happiness and how having fun, or rule number 6, not taking yourself so seriously, is so important. But remember, doing your best, learning lessons, and having fun is really the easiest way to live a passionate, purposeful, and believe it or not, profitable life. Why do people overlook the stage theory of traditional content? So the stage theory is the Shakespearean revival that I talk about. The number one thing that we have to focus in with content or marketing is the actual content, meaning to thine own self be true. Because the size, scope, and scale of the audience is so great, so accessible today, it's never been more important to find your frequency, to know who you are. In other words, in the Shakespearean revival, to thine own self be true. To thine own self be true. Never more important than today. And the second part of to thine own self be true in the Shakespearean revival is the whole world now is your stage. And good morning, Julie Meltzer, my unbelievably beautiful, incredible wife. Big shout out. I love you more than you love me, or possible. My wife is incredible. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Not afraid to tell everyone how much I love her. Thank you for joining me. It's a treat. Anyway, the stage theory is now understanding the whole world is your stage. So what we want to do is not only traditionally do the radio, print, TV, billboards, other things in marketing that we would do, mailers, but we want to figure out, how do we capture the billboard? How do we capture the radio interview? How do we capture the mailer or the American Way magazine ad or article that they put in? It was a dream of mine to be in the American Way magazine. When you fly American Airlines, there's this magazine, and they did this feature, and I was so proud of myself, and my ego was so far in my way. Of course, I asked for a December and January issue because the most people fly during that time. And meanwhile, COVID hits and nobody's flying. So what do? I think of Shakespeare. To thine own self be true. I'm going to go ahead and capture some content, me telling the story about and illuminating my own flaws by ego wanting to promote the American Way magazine, me featured in it. And meanwhile, I captured it, then I modified it for all the different platforms, including talking about it now, amplified everywhere. And it's perpetual. There's a ton of content out there on the American Way feature that they did on me. And I guess what? I reach more people than fly. So utilize that. Also, I would like to give a big shout out to Colleen. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Colleen. Enjoy your trip. No pun intended. Enjoy your birthday trip. All right, here we go. Simone, unbelievable entrepreneur. And he'll be joining us now, founder and CEO of Henco, global international logistics company. Logistics have never been needed more now today with our chain of of import and export at its core. Who knows if we'll even eat, Simone? How are you?
Hey, David, very good. And you, good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, well, it's great to see you. And I wanted to have you on because although you've been for decades a successful global entrepreneur dealing in the logistics industry, you've utilized a different perspective and culture for your success, for the longevity, for the growth, acceleration, expansion that you've been able to create over all these decades. Um, and what you've utilized, as far as I can consider and look at, is something that's aligned with my mission, which is you use basic happiness. And the power of happiness is extraordinary. How have you learned about happiness and then utilized it in your business to make more money, help more people, and have more fun?
David, first of all, we have to understand how vulnerable we are, and we have to be like enjoying life every single minute of our lives, right? We are here for just a few years, and I decided to live my years at its best. And, I'm doing my very, very best to help people understand that life can be sometimes tough, that life can be sometimes unfair. But if you just put everything together and you smile at the problems can be smaller. And, you can get rid of some of those and solve the rest in a good way. So my philosophy is, hey, listen, life is tough, life is hard. We need to work hard, we need to play hard, but if you put a smile on your face and you're happy and you just are contagious with the rest of the people, you can transcend even more. So that's high performance, happy people. That's my philosophy. I love what I do. Really enjoy what I'm doing. Listen, brother, it's just one life and that's it. We're here just for a few years. I'm going to be, the happiest person on earth from now on. It's my philosophy.
And I was born with the happiness gene. So being happy is easy for me. And not everybody was born with the energetic and genetic inheritance of happiness. I was just blessed. And even when things were extremely difficult for me, I seem to always find the light, the love, and the lessons, always smiling. And for those people that aren't like that, are you someone that was born with this gene? Or, I know you had some struggles in your 30s, health scares and other things. Can you share with us how this philosophy and perspective has evolved from when you were maybe growing up with your parents and your own
Sure.
genetic, energetic disposition and the evolution of that?
Brother, I was not born with this gene, for sure not. I learned it throughout life, and I was a very anxious kid when I was young, and then as an adult, when I started my professional life, I was also super super stressed, and I was obsessed with money, brother. I was totally obsessed in being wealthy, and when you pursue money, it's the wrong way to see life, right? You need to pursue a purpose. You need to search for meaning. You need to search on how to help people the most. And when I found and I realized that, I started changing my life. And here I am. I'm trying to be a good boss. I'm trying to be a good friend. I'm trying to be the best husband, the best father, the best human being I can be, and trying to help as many people as possible. And this is my mission, to spread happiness all around the world, just as you. And we need to just achieve our goals that way, and I need to leave a legacy there.
And with that legacy you've learned, we were talking earlier about this Shakespearean revival of number one, to thine own self be true, where you have come to a realization that we're only here for a few years. I'm going to enjoy these few years. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to learn lessons. I'm definitely going to have fun and make other people have fun as well. But also, you have also entered the other Shakespearean revival that I talked about on the content side, that you have realized that, although in the culture of your company, you've been able to create this belief and perspective, you're now reaching the whole world, which excites me because, like you said, you're on the same mission I am, and you're creating content. You're developing a podcast. You have a documentary about, your scare when you were in your 30s that changed your life by, having a life-threatening, health issue that changed or shift your perspective and give you a second chance to live your life in a certain way. Why is the content side for normal business people like you and I extraordinary in any way? Why is it so important to amplify that message through your podcast and documentary?
Sure. Sometimes people say that I'm happy because my business is it's successful. And I tell them the opposite. I am successful because we are happy, right? Because that's the energy we bring to the office, and that's the energy we show to our customers, and that's the energy we show to our suppliers and their families. So everybody wants to be surrounded by happy people. I have never met, David, in my life someone that I ask him, hey, do you want to be happy? And they come back to me and they say, no, I want to suffer. I want to be miserable the rest of my life. I have never met someone like that, brother. So what I'm trying to do is, like, I'm trying to put everything together to make my employees, my coworkers, my suppliers, my customers, my competitors as happy as possible. Because if they have a fulfilled life, we will have a fulfilled life, and that's the name of the game. So there is a purpose behind the scenes. Maybe sometimes when you think about others, you're thinking about yourself also. So when you make someone else's life better, the most benefited person is you. When you help a poor person, a guy that is struggling with his life, and when you give them this opportunity to thrive, then God will bless you and life will bless you. So it's as simple as that. The more you think about others, the more life brings you good energy and results to you. So this is our way of thinking. This is the way we decided to change our life. We decided to think more about others than to think about ourselves. And when you share this with a lot of people, this is a massive, massive impact. This is creating a massive impact in the world. And you and me are on the same track. I want to team up with you. I admire you. I love you, brother. I know how much you're doing for this world, and we need to team up to change the world for the better. That's it. It's we need good energy. It's enough of sadness. It's enough of anxiety. Enough of stress. Enough.
I
Let's
have
change it.
I have Sadhguru on. We're launching office hours on Bloomberg today, and I'd love to have you spotlighted on our next filming of our show to spotlight this philosophy, which really, as Sadhguru talks about, a reciprocity of happiness. And when I say reciprocity of happiness, people spend about 80% of their time on people that bleed us, people that are attacking us and putting conditions and judgments on us. And, I created a philosophy of praying not only for my own happiness, every morning waking up and praying to God for at least 10 people I can help to be happy, but also praying for other people's happiness. And, every once in a while, we come upon people that are unhappy, that attack us. They have judgments and conditions. And when we realize that happy people won't attack you, you've never met a person that doesn't want to be happy. I've never met someone that was happy while they were attacking you,
Sure.
and fighting with you. So I pray when I can't change your mind, or I can't open your mind, your heart, and your hands to happiness, then all I can do is pray for your happiness. And if I pray for your happiness, the reciprocity, I'm planting seeds of happiness in you. They may not grow right now, but I'm planting seeds under trees that I may never sit under, but keep on planting those seeds of happiness. For you, how do you address the haters, the attackers, the judgments and conditions that people put onto you with the superpower of happiness?
Let me tell you that smile is an arm that disarms. It's a weapon that disarms, right? So just smile. That's it. It's simple. It's free. Everybody smiles in the same language, right? So we just
Yeah.
need to smile. It's easy, right? We need to be positive. If someone is mad, hey, listen, good morning, good evening, just say hello. Smile. It's simple. Life is not complicated. We humans are making life complicated. Okay, we all have problems. Yes, you have two options. Either you face problems with bad energy and a bad mood and cursing everyone, or you just bless everyone, you just smile and you solve your own problems. Problems are there. It's part of life. We need to solve the problems, period. We're here in this world and we all have problems, right? So just go there, attack them, face them, front them, kill those MF problems and move on, right? It's just move on. And that's the way I live life. It's like, oh, listen, I wake up in the morning and one day I'm in a bad mood. It's okay. It's okay not to be okay. Sometimes I'm sad. It's okay. Happiness, we need to define happiness first. And happiness is being at peace. And fulfillment is to have 360 degrees of fulfillment. And that's what you have to do in your personal life, your family life, your business life. Everywhere you're just fulfilled. And that's it. That's the difference, David. And we need just to be a bit more contagious. When there's someone that is in a bad mood, just be human with them. Say hello, say goodbye, ask, offer them help, give them a hand. Whatever you can do for the rest of the people. Sometimes they just need a hand. Sometimes they just need a smile. And some people tell me that, hey, listen, people that are wealthy, they don't have problems. I'm sorry, but they're completely wrong. They have more problems. So there's people so poor. There's this quote I love. There's people so poor in this world, so poor that the only thing they have is a lot of money.
I love that. And what I love about happiness as well, it is contagious. It doesn't just, when you give happiness, when you receive happiness, but when you witness it, it's the same exact impact. And whether you're behind a mask or, in a hazmat suit, it doesn't matter. Happiness goes right through it. I love the arm of disarmament, the smile. And guess what?
Right.
Smiling is free, which makes it even
Absolutely.
and it uses far less muscles. Anyway, Simone Cohen on the mission with me to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, creating a culture of happiness, not just within his company at Henco, but more importantly within his community and even the world. Check him out as he's developing a podcast and his documentary. Learn how you too can be happy. Smiling is free, and so are we. Thanks so much, Simone. I'll see you
And
soon.
don't forget to buy the book Fulfilled in Amazon. Go ahead and buy it there.
It's
It's for
already
it's a non-for-profit. It's charity. We need to change the world.
And it's at Simone Cohen's, at Simone Cohen's. Check it out, henco.com.mx, and you can check out the book itself. Thanks for joining me, my friend.
Thank you, David. Keep in touch.
You got
Blessings.
it. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All righty. I forgot the book Fulfilled. What the heck? I'm losing my grip here. I want to talk about that book for a second. I know Fulfilled, The Secrets of an Entrepreneur Who, in Search of Success, Found Happiness. In February, it came out. I apologize. I skipped right over it because I was so excited about my friend being on. I forgot he had his book in February. Fulfilled, The Secrets of an Entrepreneur Who is in Search of Success but Found Happiness. Remember, there is no pursuit of happiness. Happiness is the pursuit. There is no pursuit. Sorry, Chris Gardner. Sorry, Will Smith. There is no pursuit of it. Happiness is the pursuit. And you may too, in your journey towards success, find it through happiness. So smile, everyone. Do good deeds. It's that simple. Happy birthday, Colleen. Still hanging on? I see you there. Here we go. Take a couple questions. Do you believe in under promising and over delivering? Great question. I don't. I believe in promising, creating a go, no go plan, and delivering what I promise, which, if you deliver what you promise, will invariably exceed people's expectations. I believe in doing what I say and saying what I do, and creating a go, no go plan in order to effectuate it, so that I have codified the exact process to do that. If you want to learn about a go, no go plan in order to effectuate doing what you promise and remembering, reminding, and recollecting, delivering on those promises, you will exceed expectations if you do what you promise. Trust me, it always exceeds expectations when we do what we promise. Email me if you want a go, no go plan, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll also throw in my book, ebook and audiobook. I'll sign a copy of my book, send it to you. I'll pay for the book and shipping. david@dmeltzer.com. It's right below. You can see how to reach me right below here, david@dmeltzer.com. So just do what you promise and you'll exceed expectations. You don't need to under promise or over promise. Just say what you're going to do, create a go, no go plan of what you're going to do, follow what you promise and do it, and you will exceed expectations. Where do I find like-minded people to surround myself with them? I have groups of like-minded people. So join me. We meet once a week. I have a career group. I have a sales group. I have a mindset group, all of like-minded people. Email me if you want to join one of my groups, david@dmeltzer.com. How do I create valuable content online? Practice, practice, practice. Capture as much of your content as you can. Practice modifying it for the variables of platforms. Amplify it through you and all those who support you with your own frequency, and perpetuate it so you can see the growth, the lessons, and codify your growth and lessons so that people starting at the beginning of your journey will have content to facilitate the bridge to where you're at. We need to meet people where they're at. We need to learn to not only speak to people, but understand what they're listening for. So make sure that we do that invariably. Here we go. More questions here. How do you shorten the sales process? Great question. I have a sales group for this as well, david@dmeltzer.com. But the way that we shorten the sales cycle is through credibility. The more credible we are, the less we have to utilize reasons, impacts, and capability, the less we have to articulate the quantitative value to exceed what we're asking for, the less we have to have an emotional attachment. Credibility is the key. The more credible you are, the faster the sales cycle will go. Why? Because if you're 100% credible, I can tell people right now, if I was 100% credible, hey, wire me before noon today Pacific time $1 million, and by 5 o'clock I'll email you back. I'll wire you back $2 million. If I was 100% credible, everybody would be borrowing, begging, and stealing for that million, knowing 100% that they would get what I promised back. So credibility is the key of increasing the sales speed in which you do it. Through credibility, you will be able to facilitate and articulate the reasons, impacts, and capability to exceed what you're asking for, creating a compelling event for someone to be able to receive more than you're giving. More than you're asking for. Great question. Happy birthday, Colleen. You're still here. Good to see you. It's Colleen's birthday. Everyone give her a shout out. Give birthday cakes. Reach out to her, Colleen@dmeltzer.com. Give her your best wishes. Please share your happiness with her. She has been an incredible friend, executive, associate. Started as my executive assistant so long ago. Now she's all grows up and she runs my business as my president of David Meltzer Enterprises. I'm so proud of you. Birthday cakes from Justin Pugh, Adam, and Andrew. Good to see you. Rob Deerdeck even gave you a birthday wish. How about that? Ricky, Josh Medlin was here. Happy birthday, Colleen. Everybody's singing it right now. What are the best ways to stay focused? Well, one is to recognize that the only way to stay focused is to know that we can only focus in on one thing at a time. So if we practice refocusing in on that one thing, then we are going to be able to focus better, but also it'll allow us to what other people define as multitask. I define it as gathering data from multiple focusing or refocusing points, but we have to have one constant refocus point in order to facilitate getting back to that focus. So when I'm speaking to you, I'm also doing my emails below and checking my phone, but I am refocusing in on the conversation that I'm having so it has continuity to it, even though in the speed of thought, I'm doing 3, 4, 5 things, but here in the speed of light that you can see instantaneous data being transferred from my email, my phone, to me speaking to you here on Instagram Live. Certain activities can be overlapped in the speed of light while they're separate in the speed of thought. If you're curious about the differentiation and reconciliation from the speed of thought to the speed of time, give me an email, david@dmeltzer.com. If it's above your head, don't worry. Just say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up. Let's start there. Change your life, change your mindset, change your life, change the way you look at things, change the way they are. Do you ever study ancient religion or theology? Yes, I study all history, ancient religions, theologies. I know that human nature never changes. I actually study Sanskrit, and there's 12 lessons of life from Sanskrit that I utilize about the lessons of life and how we forget every lesson and how the here, there is no better than here. And so many different of the 12 Sanskrit lessons that I've learned are so powerful. If you want the Sanskrit lessons, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I will send you my ebook, audiobook. I'll sign a book, send it to you for free. I'll pay for shipping, not a problem. As long as you reach out to me and ask, I am of service and of value to you. Let's see if I can get my friend here to join us. Hey, Andrew, good to see you. Willis, good to see you. Oh, is he here? Is he here? Daniel Park, if you're here, CCO of Transparent Arts, we're trying to get you on. When you say study, what do you mean? How can I do that? When I say study, I mean pay attention, focus in on, and give intention. Be cognizant of how you think, say, do, believe. Even take into consideration the genetic and energetic inheritance that you received. So pay attention to and give your intention to the coincidence you want. So pay attention to and give intention to the coincidences that you want. We have the producer, co-founder, CEO of Transparent. There he is, Daniel. Welcome.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I want to talk about your role as a producer on Idol, The Coup,
Mhm.
and obviously Korean dramas are taking forefront in the media space today.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, my kids and I cannot stop watching, and of course, K-pop. I think we have 4 concerts at SoFi sold out in 2 seconds. Give me an idea, co-founder of Transparent Arts, why this trend is so popular and this frequency is so strong.
yeah. I mean, I think there's a story about like how several years ago, I forgot which corporation it was. Maybe it was like CJ. They were looking at Jurassic Park, and they saw how much money Jurassic Park made globally. And South Korea, being a country that doesn't have a lot of natural resources to export, they started thinking, well, shoot, maybe we should get into exporting entertainment, and see what we can do as a country in that way. So I know that they started focusing a lot about exporting entertainment. And K-pop was something that really started like becoming what it is in the 90s, in the late 90s. And then that kind of ramped up to a point where it became a really pan-Asian thing. The country of Korea is still, population-wise not too big. I think about 55 million. So they really needed to expand outside of those borders to grow it into the industry that it is. And so with a lot of effort and focus on that over the years, it just started trying to develop. I think like even as early as like the late 90s, they were starting to try to see if they could cross over to the States. It took some time, but if it looks like it finally got there. Yeah, so I think honestly, I don't understand it all fully myself either. I think they really, really like K-pop really nailed the system of like, pop music and boy bands and how that all comes together. They really they took the old model and they just kind of went on their own path with that. And so it is what it is today. But I think a huge part of what made it so, crossover globally is the internet. South Korea is like one of the most wired countries in the world, and whereas other like territories, they might have tried to like keep their content where content would have to be paid for. I think South Korea with K-pop and that whole industry, they were really really focused on just giving out the content and flooding the internet with as much content as possible. And so early on, there were adapters to spreading on the internet K-pop content.
And I was in the South Korea in the late '90s as CEO of Samsung's first phone division, the PCE phone. I don't know if you remember it there. And had K-pop bands, but one of the influences I believe that has assisted as well is the popularity of karaoke. Uh,
Uh,
Being able to learn not only the genre of these boy bands, but also the lyrics and the language, the mannerism, very, very popular in the late '90s. We all the time karaoke. And I'm amazed how some of the people that I was working with hardly knew English, but all of a sudden when they were in karaoke mode, they were not only had better voices than I, but could speak better English if you put it to music. And I think there was some influences when you're a producer of Idol, The Coup. Do you see that influence because you were there during that time of how karaoke has helped?
that's funny. It's like I think it kind of helped in terms of like getting people into music. You know what I mean? Like like singing out loud. You know what I mean? Like I grew up here. I was born and raised in LA, but it's like I remember the first time my friend's family got a karaoke machine, and it was like I was maybe in sixth grade or something, and it was like you know I grabbed the mic, they turned on the song, and I was too shy to sing. You know what I mean? Like it's if you didn't grow up singing, it's kind of a weird thing to just get in there and sing. It takes some courage. And I think a culture of karaoke, now that I think about it, it does really, it can create a whole culture of singing, right? It becomes more normalized. And so maybe that did have some sort of influence in terms of like the talent pool. I remember like, you know, in the 90s when some of the early K-pop stuff was coming out, there was a lot of like groundbreaking stuff for the culture, but I would say there were also a lot of like popular recording artists that weren't too good yet technically. But you know, as the years went by, now it's like there's so much good talent out there. I think the pioneers had to kind of create the system, and then the talent just got better and better over the years. But it's weird. Yeah, I could see how karaoke maybe inadvertently like created a whole new like generation of better talent.
You know, it seems like in different series and content today, there seems to be a genre of content, and then they apply culture. So, you know, you have Blackish and the Goldbergs and, you know, the Neighborhood, and you have that. Now it seems to be more in the dramatic series, these kind of backdrops of different music culture, with different shows that are coming out, you know, in different genres of music. And they all, though, have the same, you know, struggling artist or conflict between the artists and et cetera. And your series is so powerful because I think you illustrate kind of the struggles and the failures of, you know, this K-pop star. You know, as you are a producer, you need to evoke the emotions so we feel empathetically that we're going through that struggle. As a producer, you know, coming from where you how best do you portray the emotional attachment that's necessary for such a successful series that you have?
Um, I mean, it's like um, I brought an idea to Korea about like, you know, because we were working so much in international music. I went to Korea with the idea of trying to produce a show that is about K-pop, but a more realistic look at it. You know, we managed artists that were in K-pop. We worked and collaborated with artists that were in K-pop, as well as obviously here in the States. But what I saw in Korea was that there weren't too many, you know, for a country that's so much about pop music, there wasn't a lot of like programming that was about that. And the ones that did exist, they were very, you know, kind of like cookie cutter, Disney-esque type of shows. So I had the idea of like doing something that took a more realistic look at the industry. I was lucky enough to partner up with a really great writer, and once I got with her, she had like the perfect log line. Like, let's make a show about a failed K-pop girl group, and you know, immediately that I knew that was the one. So as the series got developed, what was really cool to see was that we went into topics that aren't normally discussed. You know, like even though the backdrop is K-pop, it's really about like the mental health of these five girls that are in the group together. You know, what it's like to be female in the industry, first of all, but also on top of that, like the insecurities that anyone can have, the hardships about trying to chase your dreams, and what happens if it doesn't come to fruition. Like my writer's big thing was like, I would just be happy if I could write a show. She said, first of all, Daniel, you got to understand, in Korea, so many people live their whole lives towards one goal in terms of their career. They've studied their whole lives towards being a lawyer, you know, being a corporate, you know, project manager or whatever it may be. And they work so hard their whole lives towards that goal. And if they can't get that goal met, they feel like losers. They feel like life is over. Like, life is over. What do I do now? I'm 28. Life is over. And so her whole thing was like, I would love to make a show where the message is, it's not over. There's so many things that can happen after this. And even if you don't have success with this one goal, there's many other ways that you can find happiness and success in other ways that maybe weren't your original goal. And so the show, that's the core message of the show.
And Daniel, you do such a great job. That's a huge lesson that I love to teach, that pain, setback, mistakes, and failures are usually propelling us to something better if we allow it with the right perspective instead of punishing us and stopping us. And a lot of kids in all different places around the world sometimes see pain, failure, setbacks, and mistakes as a stop sign instead of a turn signal. And you portray so well with the writing that you have and the production that you've given. Where can people reach out and find you guys?
So our company's Transparent Arts. You can go to transparentarts.com or on IG or other socials, look for Transparent Feed. We are a international entertainment company. You know, our bread and butter started with the music business, but we've also now, with the show, expanded down to TV and film. And what really separates us from maybe some of the other entertainment companies out there is we do a lot of business between Asia to the US and back and forth. And so that's our niche.
It's an awesome niche, and you do an awesome job. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great weekend. Keep up the great work.
You too, David. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
All
Daniel
right, bye.
It's DBD at DBD. You see it right there. He's awesome. If you haven't seen, check it out. I personally think it's a great message and a great show, great series, and great company in order to have the crossover between especially Asia and the United States. Thank you. Happy birthday, Colleen. Let's take one quick question and we'll call it a day. Here we go. Last question. What are the lessons that come up repeatedly in your groups that take more practice to learn? Getting stuck. You know, what do I do when I get stuck? And you got to lean in. You need the 5 daily practices. You need to know your what, your who, your how, and your now to apply your why. Your what, your who, your how, your now, apply your why. If you feel stuck, it's a good thing. It means you're expanding, growing. You're outgrowing the container that you're in. Your vessel is growing. That's why you feel stuck. If you weren't growing, you would be comfortable. You wouldn't feel stuck. So being stuck is a great thing. Get stuck, getting stuck. It comes up all the time in the group. Anybody that wants anything from me, I'll give 5 minutes to anyone. If you want a 5-minute phone call with me, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll send you my book, ebook, audiobook. I will sign a book, send it to you, and pay for shipping. I'll pay for the book. Who else does that? Nobody. david@dmeltzer.com. Remember, most importantly, everyone, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll see you tomorrow.